Well, we're back, yes, and I have my first guest with me, Renee Terrell. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we're excited to have you here. So I know you're going to bless the people with your information because I was inspired by what you have to say. So tell us about Renee Terrell and that you have a phrase you've kind of coined, digital discipleship.
Yes. Well, my name is Renee Terrell. I'm a certified Christian coach. I'm an author, and I also coach people on how to interact in marketing and branding on a digital platform. And especially in today's society, that is definitely necessary.
Yes, I mean, there's a whole lot that can be said about that in terms of branding yourself out there on the social media platforms because there's so many. Mm-hmm. So what advice do you have for people who, again, we kind of like thrust into some of this, how we're having to do things so differently now regarding social media. So what are some strategies that you suggest or some things that would be helpful for people who are like, say, yeah, that's not me, I don't do that. So what do you say to them?
Well, it's very important to get engaged. Social media is the new guerrilla marketing. And with that, the digital discipleship is what I like to call when churches and ministries have a way to connect with who their audience are. Their church members, the people that they're trying to help, the community, all those things are necessary. And so using social media is a way to leverage that. It's free. And it gives you the exposure because not only do you get to tell someone, but if you tag them or you share with someone else, they can share with their friends as well. And as a result, it'll just continue to go and go and go.
So it's a spiral, the guerrilla marketing now with the social media.
Yes.
So getting your message out there in front of thousands of people for free.
Yes. And that's what people don't understand. You have to take advantage of that. Your friends, your families, people who are already naturally connected to you and what you already do, why wouldn't they want to share the good news of you? Right? And then there's so many other opportunities to be able to connect with people. Like you have opportunities to go live and you can hear comments and do questions and answers. They're even leveraging it even more where now you can accept payments right on the lives. So that's very important.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, there's options out here continually and then the way that you connect them together. So instead of having to go to several different places and giving the same message or doing the same training, you can now leverage that in one place from the comfort of your own home at this point.
And that's a good thing. You could be in your pajamas. Almost.
Yes.
And the bottom part, you know, if you're going to be seen, you got to make sure you're okay above the top.
Right. I talk about that in my book. One of the things
we're going to talk about. I want to bring that out. Communicating richly. The power of you.
Yes.
I love that with that big you. It's like
yes, because you are the star. Everyone was created for a purpose, and they have a reason for being here. And it's not by happenstance. It's not by chance. But you were created to be existing in this time, in this world. And you have a power. It's a unique stamp that no one else has but you. And I like to encourage people to share that with the world because when you leave, your stamp should be left here on the world for the next generation.
Absolutely. So there's so many platforms in terms of social media. I think that's the thing that I hear a lot of people talk about. It's just overwhelming because you have social media. You have LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, on and on and on. You have what's the other one?
You got Periscope, Etsy, Pinterest.
All those, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Twitter. So people are like, I don't know what to do.
Yes.
Where do I go? So how does someone, as a disciple, digital discipleship expert, Christian coach, how do you guide people to say, you know, I don't know where to start?
Well, I have a class called Digital Discipleship, but I also help them start because you have to think about who is your end user. Like, who am I trying to reach? Yes, we want to reach the world, but am I a youth minister trying to reach the youth? Am I over the women's ministry and I'm trying to reach women? What is your end user? And then put yourself in their position. What are they going through? What would they be dealing with going on in the change in the marketplace, the change in the world with everything that's happening? And then consider what is my information that I need to share with them in order to connect with them. Because the thing is about connecting with something that is authentic, and there's only you, and you have to be authentic. And with that, people connect with that, and they say, you know, I want to go to their service. You know, I want to work with them. I want to sow into their nonprofit. It's about being able to connect with the message of what it is that you do.
You said a key word there, authentic. To be your authentic self. It gives you a chance to be your authentic self. So what is, when you think about authentic, and authenticity, what does that look like in terms of on a digital platform?
Well, that's why I create Communicating Richly, because you have to be able to communicate in a way that your user can understand. So if you're dealing with the youth, you're going to have to talk in terms that match who they are. They understand words that we may not understand. They have multiple meanings, right? So you want to make sure that you can connect with them in an authentic way. And that is also important when it comes to leveraging your brand or leveraging your business. How do I put a little bit of me in what I do so that people can see, you know what? I want to know about that. And you do that by sharing yourself. When you get on and you give messages, you're talking about your skill set. You're talking about what you do, and people connect with that. And that is what they need to see when we're talking about authentic. So in my book, I talk about the power of you. I talk about the power of your presence, your ability that even just your existence, where you are right there, it can leverage an entire room where people will feel a change. And we all know about that. You have the people that come in the room and it just brings joy.
Like, yeah, they're here. It's like, oh, they're here.
Right.
Renee's in the house.
Right. But then you have those others that come in
Say,
and you
praise
say,
the Lord.
Yes, hallelujah. Lord, thank you. Glad you're here, right?
Yeah, so good to see. And you are glad to see them, but they have a different persona.
Exactly. And that translates even in the digital realm. It translates in your branding. What are your colors? Do they match? Are they just all over the place? Or is it something that aligns with who you are? What is the content that you're giving? It's not just about posting information, but information that connects with who it is that you're trying to reach, right? So on my platform, I wouldn't necessarily put a lot of cartoons if I'm not a person that's trying to deal with children.
Right.
I would put content that would connect with people that I'm trying to connect with.
I mean, you hear that because, you hear that from people who say, give your message connecting with the people you're trying to get to. But sometimes people still don't write their verbiage correctly to target those they're trying to get to. So is that something you also help people write their messages in terms of, or write their brand spin? You help them do that as well?
Right, because it's not a spin, it's just who you are. Right? So if you started this business, if you started this product, you were innovative and you created this, how do you want to share that? What inspired you to do that? And when you talk from there, when you speak from, I started this because I was a struggling person who struggled with addiction. And so I created an outlet where other people who are addicted can come together and talk, because I remember how it felt when I was addicted. See, when you tap into the story, then people can tap into you, because guess what? There are over 8 billion people in the world. And so one person cannot meet all the needs. 100 people cannot meet all the needs.
Right.
There is room in the marketplace for you and what it is that you do. You just have to be willing to share it with the world.
And again, to be vulnerable, and that transparency sometimes to share your story, because sometimes people think that your life is perfect, you've never had any problems. No, you don't know what God brought me through. I tell people, the good thing is we don't look like what we've been through.
Exactly.
That's the good news. Most of us don't look like what we've been through, and that's good news. But when you begin to peel away the onion, people get a chance to see who you are, you connect at an emotional level, because people realize, oh, you've had some of the same struggles I've had.
Yes, and that makes you human. Right? It makes you human, because I can't relate, especially in these times. I cannot relate to a person who's never had a problem. But I can relate to a person who is trying to hold it together, and they are on their last leg, and all they can do is just give this last little push. And even the honesty, in this time, it's allowed a lot of honesty to happen, where people are telling their truth that, I'm not okay. I miss getting a hug from a person. I don't have children. I don't have a husband, but I just want to be able to connect with people, and I miss that. And sometimes we need to FaceTime and not just text message, right? So it's those kind of things, but then people, you get that outpouring of love. You get that outpouring of connection and what it is that you need. And trust me, someone needs what it is that you have to offer. So just hold on to that and say that I've got to give it, because somebody is out there and you are the answer
to their prayer. And I think you said something, because sometimes what I've seen when I'm scrolling through some of the social media platforms, there'll be a post that says, how are you doing today? I'm not okay. Anybody want to talk? And so people I am seeing the vulnerability of people now that in the past, sometimes you didn't see. Everybody's like, everything's okay, we all good. Now people are saying, I'm struggling today. People say, well, can someone reach out to me and pray for me? I've seen that.
Yes, and the thing is, the struggles existed, but we were so busy, sometimes we didn't know. And even with sharing in a safe space,
Yes.
sharing in your community and your group of people. And that's who is going to be attracted to your brand. You have, in my book, I talk about your tribe. It's the people who are naturally going to be flowing to you. And it may be several people who do what you do, but they may not connect with everyone, but they connect with you. And your tribe needs to know that, today is a rough day. How many people can agree to that? And even that leverages it, because if it's a good, honest message, how many people reshare and share and share a good message, no matter who it's from? And that could be the next thing that goes viral.
You just don't know, because any post you put out there, I tell you, it has a potential of being on the newspaper, on the news, because somebody who sees it, who needed it that day, because what God has for you is for you. So sometimes that person that you said, maybe 10 people doing it, but that one message that you give connects with me because I felt your pain, I felt what you were going through, and it connected to me.
Yes. And then also it's the timing, right? So there's a lot of different algorithms depending on what social media platform you use. And so timing is very important. So you may put a post out at 7 a.m. on a Monday, and somebody may not see it till Thursday at 3 o'clock. But it was the message that God was using you to share with someone else, to change their life, to inspire them, to impact them in a way, and something that they needed to let them know that I felt God through that.
Amen.
And that's what's important.
Tell people how they can reach you, because I know someone said, I need her, I need help. So, because you work with churches and pastors in terms of with their messages. So tell people how they can reach you, Renee.
They can reach me at Renee Motivates. That's RENEE Motivates. And also my website is Concept Marketing Firm. That's ConceptMarketing Firm, FIRM.com. So Concept Marketing Firm.
Now, somebody didn't have their pen.
Yes.
They weren't ready. So they're ready now. So give it to them again.
Okay. www.ConceptMarketing Firm, FIRM.com.
Okay, and then you said the other one was Renee.
At Renee Motivates, RENEE MOTIVATES, Renee Motivates.
So if someone's just starting out, or maybe they're just trying to get more of a presence on social media, what would you suggest for them to do in terms of what platform might they go to
Well,
first?
that too depends on what their business is and what it is that they're doing. For example, if you're going to do jewelry, if you're trying to engage people in creative things, you could use Etsy, you could use Pinterest, also Instagram. If you are, let's say, a realtor and you're trying to get more business, you can use Instagram and also Facebook. So it just depends on what it is that you do.
Okay.
And then that way you can have a better chance of saying, okay, who are my customers and where would they most likely be?
So encourage someone, take the next minute and a half to just encourage someone who's watching, who might say, I need what she has, I just don't know where to begin. Just encourage someone based on your Christian coach, you are a person who does discipleship, digital discipleship. Encourage someone who's watching now who says, I need help. Can you give me a word?
Yeah. I just want to encourage you that at the end of the day, you matter. And you were not created by happenstance. You were not created by chance. You were created for a purpose. And you have a responsibility to leave your stamp on the world. It doesn't matter your past. It doesn't matter your experiences. What innovative, creative ideas that God has placed in you is something that someone else needs. And he didn't just drop it in you just for fun. He dropped it in you so that you can share that with the world. And so I encourage you just to start. If it's something as simple as just creating a profile page and just putting your picture up and saying, hello world, that's all you need to get started. Trust me, your family, your friends, your cousins, and people you may not even want to find you will find you and start you out on your day. But no matter what, just remember, you have a responsibility to place your stamp on the world.
Amen, that's good. But I like the point, just get started. I mean, that's the key thing. Just get started. Get your profile picture up there, and just don't leave it blank. Put a picture there. Put a picture there. You have a picture. Take a picture with your camera on your phone. Put your picture up there. It doesn't have to be the highest, the best quality. Just have a picture there. So it's so important. So you have given a plethora of information for people during this short segment, and then if they really want to know more, they can track you down and find out about communicating richly the power of you, so they can make sure they put their stamp. They create their legacy. They can put a stamp that cannot be erased. So thank you so much for those wonderful ideas and things you shared. You are just a resource you're just full of resources. I mean, there's so many other questions I wanted to ask you, just don't have enough time. Like, what about this? What about this? So we may have to talk offline.
Yeah,
So
no worries.
thank you again for just sharing. It's just been a blessing to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I know people got some ideas. I know they got some nuggets to help them as they go forward.
Yeah.
So now